Guess who's back? Back again. Table's back. Tell a friend. How's it going, everybody? Jim and Ryan of the Roundtable of Rathe here. And we wanted to come on today to give a little channel update, talk about our recent ProQuest, and then all of our Uprising hype and hopes and predictions. But before we get into any of that stuff, my main man Ryan, you might see he's in a new setting. He's got some cool life events going on, just bought a new house. Ryan, how have you been? You haven't seen the people in a while.
I've been, it's been a thing recently. So not only have we bought a new house, we had our second child and then bought a new house literally 3 days later. So it's been new baby, new house. And then when things were starting to settle down, everybody in the new house, including the new baby, we all got COVID. So that was fun. So it's been a rough, I would say, complicated / interesting / very intense last like 2 months for us. Mm-hmm. But things are finally starting to settle down, which is why we are able to come back to the channel and provide some more content that I've definitely been missing. I've been missing making videos and stuff like that. So it's nice to finally to find a little quiet. You can see some boxes and shit like this in the background that I haven't unpacked yet. But yeah.
Well, if you didn't know, for all of our faithful viewers out there, 75% of our channel is education. We work in the education field. So our channel spikes up in activity in the summertime when we have ample opportunities to start recording more videos. During the school year with life and stuff going on, we slow down a bit. But we have had recent discussions about when next school year starts, how to try to combat that and produce and put out more videos, even during the busier parts of our lives and our year.
Yeah. So I do want to, before you get there, I somehow, we've taken, a couple months off. We haven't really put anything out. Not really, but we haven't put anything out there. And somehow our subscriber base has gone up a little bit. We're at like 915-ish. So, for those of you that have been tuning into the channel or discovering the channel or continuing to support our older videos, even though we haven't come out with anything new, we really, really appreciate it. We know it's been an internal discussion amongst us. Like, we have to get back to a regular schedule, like Jim was alluding to. All of us are really excited for Uprising, as I'm sure the viewers are as well. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. So expect a more regular release schedule, whether it's a solo video talking about a certain hero or a team video talking and evaluating cards in our terrible opinions, whatever it might be. Expect a more regular release schedule going forward. And again, I can't overstate it enough. Thank you guys for supporting the channel, even when we've kind of gone dark these last couple of months. It's not something that we don't notice. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, honestly, thank you very much. And we try to relate to you guys as much as possible, and we live busy lives, and intertwined with those busy lives and the things that happen, there's always flesh and blood and gathering in the flesh and blood to play games. And so we will try to dedicate more time to our channel. So thank you for those of you who have subscribed and have stuck around, or maybe even been around from the very beginning. And so with that being said, we wanted to give a little update about not only us trying to put out more videos, but what you can expect moving forward. And I think we're pretty excited. I shouldn't say pretty. We're very excited for Uprising to come out, and we might try to dive into really each one of us. And I don't want to speak for Bob or Mark. They're very busy right now. Hard for them to be part of the content creation team, but Ryan, myself, and Chris kind of talked about potentially diving into one of the new heroes each, and really giving insight and exclusive content about that hero. We did a similar thing when Monarch came out. Ryan dove into Prism. I got really into Levia, and then Chris and Bob played Bolton, and then Mark was playing a lot of Chain at the time. And so we're thinking about splitting up, me taking Phi, the new Ninja, Ryan taking Dromai, the new Illusionist, and then Chris has shown some interest into Icelander. So if we go that route, expect some, theory crafting, some lessons in videos, and all that good fun. So that's what you can expect coming in the next, month once we get these new cards and can start to play. And I know Ryan's excited about this. We want to kind of recap each week of spoiler season. Isn't that right, Ryan? You want to do like recap of some of the cards that come out?
Yeah, I don't know. I like you said, like this set has gotten kind of your juices flowing a little bit. I'm more excited about this set. I think, our first spoiler release was Monarch. Like we got into it right after Crucible, so Monarch was kind of our first thing. So we were like babies then, and then Tales of Aria was cool. Everfest was a supplementary set.
Yeah.
This is like the first set that I'm like insanely hyped about. So I can't wait for spoiler season. I know it starts in a couple of days on Saturday. Mm-hmm. I want to discuss the cards. If we look back at our takes in Monarch, which I just recently did, it's fun to look back at our terrible takes because we, on the Prism video, said
we were babies.
We were like, hey, auras are, terrible. You only want to play. They cost too much resource, cost too many resources, and you only want to play Genesis. And now it's like Prism lists play every single aura that's humanly possible. So I'm excited to give really bad takes again, but at the same time, just discussing these new cards, I'm so excited. This set's going to be unreal. We're going to talk about them in a little bit, or our hype in a little bit. But yeah, I can't wait to do kind of spoiler like reactions. It's gonna be fun.
I agree, and hopefully this new Ninja is pretty kick-ass because since we've kind of gone into the dark ages, I've gotten really into Katsu, and I played a lot of Katsu over the past year or so. So I'm excited for Ninja. Ryan has always been an Illusionist fan, and so he's very excited for Dromai. I think over the past
the dragons.
I was just about to say, I think over the past 3 weeks, I could say two things that happened. I've texted Ryan almost every day saying, when does spoiler season start? And then he responds to me, it's the 4th. And then he constantly says, I'm gonna spend so much money on these dragons, dude. I'm gonna be spending so much money on these dragons, dude. So we're really excited. Yeah. All right, so with that out of the way, we do want to give a shout out. There was our Chicagoland / Midwest ProQuest that took place yesterday on the 29th. It was the Sunday of the Memorial Day weekend, hosted by MinMax Games. And they did an excellent job of hosting this event. Hometown TCG, Big Josh streamed the event. That was excellent. And Ryan, myself, and Chris got to play in the event. Our other teammates and associates, Levi and Sam, played in the event. Levi actually placing in the top 8 and doing really well. The kid's like...
Azalea.
The kid's the Azalea god at this point. I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, you refer to Levi as Papaya because that's what everybody calls him by his name. He's so famous in the Azalea and Lexi chat.
He was on stream round 1 against Chris, which was a joke, but still watch. And then he was also on stream in the top 8 the first round against Rev. Rev's a Hyperloops guy. His name is actually Nathan. On Chain, and Levi ended up losing, but the game close. Was insane. It was insane. And I know there's Azalea is like the joke tier, but Levi on Azalea is like, it's just different level. You guys watching this know by now. So yeah, check out Big Josh, Hometown TCG. You guys are familiar with him. Check out his stream of the event. All the games were great, but if you want to see how Azalea is supposed to be played, watch Levi play because it's something for us. We test with Levi, we play with Levi, we're familiar with Levi. So when he kicks our ass on Azalea, it's like, okay. So everybody else's conception about Azalea is like, oh, she's trashed here. look at him and like realize that any hero in this game is viable if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to put in, the effort. As Levi just proves that with Azalea all the time. So, watch his games. It's amazing. It's really cool to watch.
Yeah, and I think he made a great call. He had played in a Pro Quest the day before, and he saw a ton of chain. And so he knows that chain doesn't like on-hit effects, and he's so good with his Azalea that he made the call to go back to his Azalea, and it was an awesome call. So he reads the meta well, he knows his surroundings, and is a great player. Ryan in the event played Prism, which is why we gave him the light illusionist border that you see now. And then I played Levia because I was kind of coming out of retirement, hadn't played in a while, and I wanted to throw some stuff for fun. And I figured, why not go back to Baby Girl? She was doing well in a couple other Pro Quests. Mansant and Big John were slamming people down with her, so I was like, I gotta join in on this party. Ryan, did you have fun? I know we didn't, do too well, but you had a good time?
Yeah, I always had fun, and like I lost round 1, I lost to Briar, and then I was 3-1. So I like started to ride the submarine. The submarine was going, and then I ran into Rodrigo, who's a local of ours, who's a great dude. He was on chain, and I just strategically, I made the wrong decision. Me and him had talked about it after the game. I got him close to fatigue. I actually had him decked out, but I wasn't playing for the fatigue plan the whole game. And if I would have committed early enough to the fatigue plan like I should have been, who knows? I mean, he's a great player, so he might have made some different decisions. But the game might have been different. And then I ended up dropping the last round 2 to an aggro dash. And yeah, she just rolled me. She played so well. So yeah, finished 3-3. Had a shot at glory for a second there. Had I played a little bit different against Rodrigo. But yeah, I had a great time. We haven't really been as, we haven't committed to the competitive life or the competitive style as we have in like tournaments past and seasons past. And so I think that kind of showed. We just, life has been going on and we haven't had the time to grind. Yeah. But I'm excited because I think coming out of the event, Yumi and Chris, and not even talking to the other guys, but Yumi and Chris especially have said, hey, like next season, let's kind of commit. Let's go after it a little bit. So, yeah, we just weren't prepared, and but yeah, I had a blast. Min-Max is insane. They're killing the game.
They're killing the game.
It's so cool. I mean, the prizing structure, like, every single person got a pack of Welcome to Rathe Unlimited per win, which, yeah, it's not like a premier first edition pack, but it's more than any other tournament's giving. Mm-hmm. First place got $100. They paid down to the top 16. Top 16, or I think 8 through 16, got their money back, which was $30 entry. So like they actually raffled out a box of.
Oh yeah, that was so cool.
First edition Crucible at War at random. Like on entry, you got your ticket in a box, and they raffled off a first edition crew box. So Min-Max cannot overstate what they're doing. They're absolutely killing the game. It's awesome to be kind of in their area and have them run events. And for those of you that are listening that aren't local to us, they're the number one singles sellers in North America. So check out their website. I think it's minmaxgames.com. But they're incredible.
Yeah, and I had just as much fun. And like Ryan said, just like any sport, the more time you put in, the harder you work, the better results you're going to see. And we were just at a place as a team where that wasn't possible the last couple months, or it was possible, but it was hard to find time when life comes at you. But moving forward, though, so... real quick. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
I know you did it earlier, but shout out Josh, shout out Hometown TCG.
Oh yeah.
He kind of emceed. He didn't play in the event, but he streamed. He interviewed. You guys probably watched his stream. Josh is so important for our area. He does an amazing job at what he does. So shout out him and the job that he did, kind of bringing just views to our local scene. Our local meta is crazy. Like
yeah.
we've got Levi, we've got Jeremy who just won on Starvo, who's a great player. We've got people from Michigan and Wisconsin to come, and that's not even including Sam. Sam, everybody knows Dando, but our meta is. Yeah, the swag lord. Our meta is very, very strong, and it's great that Josh has the exposure that he does because he's able to bring eyes to the people that are playing in it. Mm-hmm. Even if me and Jim are never on stream. Meta's on stream.
Yeah, Chris was on stream. He actually put out a video. If you have notifications on for us, he put a video shaming himself this morning. So it's pretty funny. Check that one out. But everything you said, Ryan, I would agree and concur. We talk about it all the time. We're blessed to have the scene we have, but then we're also like, dang, 64 people at our pro.
Live in like Podunk, Texas.
Be running the show.
9 people, or we just win every tournament. We have 64 people, and fucking Levi and Sam are 2 of them.
Yeah, it's gonna be a grind. I'll tell you that. So the sun kind of set on us for a while. It was dark, but now the sun is coming out. There's the dawn of a new day, and Uprising is just that. Possibly it's an uprising of our channel and our fab action. So we want to talk about a little bit of our hype that we have for it, the hopes that we have for it, and maybe make a couple predictions here and there for the new set. So Ryan, I'll kick it over to you. I know you have been extremely excited about our new illusionist hero, Dromai. We don't know her mechanics yet at the time of this video. What do you hope, or what do you kind of expect to see from this hero and the dragons that you're excited to see, I guess?
Yeah, so it's so interesting because we know so nothing about anything. And so the first, all we know, the one dragon, right? 6 attack, 6 health. We know his ability. We don't know what ashes are yet. We can only speculate. But something has to give that dragon the ability to attack, right? He doesn't have an action on his card, so he can't just attack by himself. So is that coming from the weapon? Is that coming from the hero? That's an interesting conundrum. What I'm most excited about with Dromai, I think, is, what does the world of Illusionists look like without Luminaris? Right? We know that weapon. We know that it's so busted, just giving every Illusionist attack action card go again as long as Illusionist attack go again as long as there's a yellow pitch. So aura spam, herald aggro, things like that. That's gone now, right? That's gone if you're playing Dromai, that might be not a thing. Mm-hmm. The one thing that we can infer from the Draconic talent is that they like red pitch, right? So we saw the Judge promo who likes red pitch, and we saw the Dragon who reveals the top 3 cards, and he wants red cards on the reveal, right? So the assumption is Draconic talent is going to want red pitch somewhere, which again, that's very not our traditional illusionist, our illusionist, or our resident illusionist. So yeah, I'm very intrigued. My prediction is Dromai is going to be more of a go tall illusionist, and I think that her hero ability is going to discourage players from breaking Phantasm. So I think that she's inherently going to have an ability that does that.
Oh man, maybe now that you say that, throw in a little prediction. That would be cool if she is creating, illusions out of fire, and when one gets popped, it turns to ash.
Yeah. Ooh. And I think that instead of heralds, you're going to have dragons. So I think
Do you think all the attacks are going to be different types of dragons?
Yes, I do. I think that the big dogs are going to be the allies, but I think you're going to have like dragon illusions, maybe like these ash wings that they kind of referred to. So not necessarily the actual dragons, but like dragon illusions. But yeah, I do think that there's going to be, she's going to discourage people from popping Phantasm. And so cards like Phantasmify are going to go up and like you're going to want to play those because it's like, hey, buff the attack and whatever, because you don't care if they pop it because you're gaining some sort of advantage or some sort of thing. So yeah, that's my early prediction. I'm probably extremely off on her.
I like this. Can I ask you? Can I ask you this question? Of the current illusionist card pool.
Yeah.
What one? Just pick one. There's probably like 3 you can think of. What one card is going to be most important to have that you think will translate to Dromai that currently exists?
Okay, so I'm gonna already disregard what you said. I'm gonna say 2. I'm gonna say 2 cards. Yeah, I'm gonna say 2 cards. So I think the 2 cards that are kind of lesser played, that I think are going to be extremely important in what she does, right? If she's not invested in Go Again as much because of not needing yellow and Luminaris isn't going to give Go Again, then I think the 2 cards that are going to be really important are Phantasmaclasm, right? If you're going to be running mostly reds and blues with her and you can ignore yellow pitch, like Prism wanted so badly, right? You have to think that you're going to run mostly a deck of then reds and blues kind of online with all the rest of the heroes. Phantasmaclasm automatically becomes a lot better, right? You can afford it with a blue. You don't have to worry about Go Again by pitching a yellow, so you don't have to worry about that weird situation where like if you don't have a tunic counter, you don't have to pitch a yellow, whatever. So I think Phantasmaclasm is going to be like kind of main deck. And then I think the second card is going to be Fractal Replication, right? I think she's going to have.
Not to interrupt, because I'm clueless here. I know Fractal, what Fractal makes it copy one that was already out there.
Correct. So okay. Fractal, you need to Go Again. So I'm thinking that she might have some sort of Go Again mechanic, or at least maybe cards that might have Go Again. I don't know how it is. Like maybe it's like a Dread Screamer, right? Where one of her new auras has Go Again, or one of her new dragons, or
if it's not popped, it gains Go Again.
Sure, like Spears of Surreality has that, but I think Fractal, because now cards aren't going to go to Soul, so they're not going to lead the combat chain. Fractal, I think, gains in value. So I think
unless they turn to Ash, then they would leave the combat chain.
Correct. In which case, then that might help Dromai, like I just kind of speculated a second ago. Yeah. So I think those, if I were to look at, specking on some cards right now, I would pick Phantasmaclasm and I would pick Fractal Replication. I think those 2 cards are going to find a home in Dromai just because they're red pitch and they're also very powerful. So that's my early prediction. I'm probably way off. Who knows? But that's what I would guess.
Okay, and then I'll throw one. You can ask me questions next. I'll throw one more spice at you since you were the Dromai hype. We talked about the Illusionist, a couple of hopes and predictions. What piece of equipment do you think the Illusionist piece of equipment will be? The legendary, obviously.
Just Illusionist, or
assuming
Draconic?
We're not going to talk the Draconic, because Fi and then Dromai could use the Draconic one. I want just what you think they're going to give to the Illusionist class.
I think they're going to get arms. I think it's going to be, because they just got a Majestic in Crown of Reflection, and then they just got the legs. I mean, the legs in
Phantasmal Footsteps, yeah.
And then my eventual prediction, I think Draconic is going to be the chest piece.
You think Draconic will be chest piece, but then Illusionist will get arms?
But I can also see Illusionist getting robes.
I would say I think Illusionist gets the chest piece and the Ninja
I think it's one of the 2.
Yeah. But either way.
Ninja can get both of those too.
Ninja can get chest or arms. They both can kind of go the same way.
Don't think there's going to be another mask?
I mean, maybe, but I would hope. I don't want there to be. Give me more slots. Give me more slots.
Yeah, you want the slots.
Yeah, give me more slots.
So I could see robes or arms.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I could see robes or arms.
All right, I'll ship it over to you. I'll let you take over the reins for a little bit.
Yeah. So I will say first, you have been playing bottom feeder heroes forever. If like the general assumption, right, 5 playing cards on a discard pile in some capacity, right? We don't know if it's going to be a straight chain copy where he just can just do it, or if he has to earn it. Like, what does it feel for you to have, ninja hype? Like, you've been a Katsu player for a while.
After the Rathe meta, when he ran the Rathe meta, then
yes,
then I missed that, and then I played Katsu afterwards.
Yeah. Well, you played him to some decent success in some tournaments. You fortitude the last ProQuest with him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is your hope overall for 5?
So we know I just recently watched, and I'm sure you watched. I don't know if we talked about it when James White did the Q&A at New Jersey. Did you get a chance to watch that?
I did. So I consume everything that man does.
Yeah. So he did say that it's a lot of attacks on the combat chain type class, right? So it's a very go wide class. Yeah. So I would like to have him be a top tier deck that still has to kind of work for if he gets to play extra cards, like you said. I want there to be some type of qualification that's maybe not as necessarily easy as that chain had, where it was, banishing for how many shackles you had, and then hitting blood dead cards and being able to play them that turn out of your banish zone. It was such an advantage for Chain, and we saw how Chain got to run the show by being able to have access to more cards on his turns. And go wide classes have always done extremely well since the beginning of the game. And so I like to see the twist or spin. How Dash can go wide with her boost mechanic. Chain goes wide with Soul Shackle mechanic. I want to see his mechanic, and I want to see if it's, I don't want to say the word fair, because who's to judge fair? But I want to see if it's something that is like easy, or something you have to set up and plan and strategically go about doing, rather than just saying, all right, shackle, and then next turn you're going to get 2. But I am excited, like you said. I've been playing the bottom tier decks, so I hope he's good, because it would be really fun to play like the top deck and really get a chance to sink my teeth into it, open my window for some competitive wins, hopefully.
Sure. Now here's a thought for you as a Leviathan fan. Right? Like, let's just say his one of his abilities is playing cards out of the graveyard. Do no blocks keep him in check, or is that too much of a hindrance?
It's a good question, because we saw them, put a lot of the 2 blocks on a lot of the elemental cards, and so people were like, "Oh man, Lexi's going to be able to shoot a bunch of arrows in a turn, and go wide." And then the downfall to maybe her or Briar at the time was that, okay, well, these cards they need to fuse with aren't going to block as well. And then Briar kind of duped that by making the embodiment tokens. So there has to be some type of drawback. You got to feel like he's going to be a class that just doesn't want to block. So it's really interesting, because Katsu can be played in 2 ways. People can turtle shell with Katsu and really utilize Flick Flack, one of his rares from Welcome to Rathe, and turtle shell up, and then still output a 5 to 7 damage on a turn. Turtle shell up, play defense, still output 5 to 7 on a turn, and continue to do so. I want to see if he has that same archetype, or if Flick Flack will just be hopefully his cards have combo. He's ninja, so Flick Flack should be still good with him. So it'd be interesting to see if can he do the same thing. Can he be played like Turtle Shell Katsu, or is he going to be, all the way aggro, aggressive, doesn't want to block, doesn't have any ways. So I don't know. 0 blocks would be interesting. You're saying like how in
Like,
Levia,
you want-
Wild
you want
Ride is a
cards-
0 block, and Pulping is
Yeah.
a 0 block, and things like that.
You can't easily get them to the graveyard. Like, they have max power in the graveyard, but you have to figure out a way to get them there.
Yeah, that would be smart, because then if they have printed no block on it, then you can't just turn one block, stack your graveyard.
What if they have printed 0 block?
That'd be interesting. That's good. Printed 0 block would be cool. But then you would still be allowed to block with it, though. You would still be
Sure. That's what I'm saying. You're taking the damage,
but you're setting up your combo.
You're setting yourself up for bananas.
I like that idea, and I think that's a solid prediction. And seeing how fishing cards out of your graveyard to either finish a combo, I could see it being like cards with combo can be played out of your graveyard. There's no way you can start the combat chain with one of them.
Ooh,
right?
Okay, I like that. So
there's no way
you have to have the
combo on your card.
You have to play like the
start piece,
surging strike.
Yeah, for sure that has to be what it is.
And it's like on hit, play a card. Yeah, okay, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, because
on hit or something, play a card from combo with a card in your discard pile.
In my opinion, he would be way too strong if you could play the start piece of a combat chain of a combo line from the graveyard. But if you start with a card from hand and then you can go fish to maybe you're cashing an Ash as well or something. Maybe you're doing something to see if, because a lot of the cards, like let's think Katsu said, go find a card with combo. Discard a 0, go find a card with combo, banish it. Fi might say, go find a card with combo in your graveyard.
Right there, yeah. Ooh, I like that.
So
that's cool.
Yeah, and I'm really excited. So hopefully,
I got another question for you.
All right, and I got one more piece of hype. So you ask first, and then I'll give my hype.
All right, the ninja weapon.
Oh, that was my hype. That was my hype.
Kadachi.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get something new. We're going to.
I want a katana.
We're gonna get something new. So do you think there's going to be a two-handed weapon, or do you think you're going to get two different one-handers? So,
man, I would...
And, it has to be something, because getting rid of Kadachi is...
Yeah,
having a weapon that replaces Kadachi is a big deal.
Yeah, it is, because putting a 0 cost in your pitch zone, like you said, decks running heavy amounts of blues and reds. Putting a 0 in your pitch zone and being able to start with a Kadachi and so on and so forth and sprinkle them in there is so strong.
So good.
I'm nervous that let's say they make a two-handed katana, which is what I want, because that's so cool. Imagine a beautiful flesh and blood card with like a katana dripped with like fire, like it's in flames or it's red or just whatever. But it has, like you said, it has to be solid. My fear is that they're gonna view players will say, okay, well, Kodachis bring so much value that the Kodachis are going to get play. Kind of like when Chain came out with Galaxy Black. It's like, okay, here's Chain's cool sword, but then actually competitively, it's not the most advantageous to go with the Galaxy Black. I want the weapon. Same with Levia and Hexagore. All these characters that Levia comes out with Hexagore, and I was like, this thing's gotta, they put the M tag on this, it's gotta be a banger, bro. And then back in that era, you were smacking me with Raiden, and I was like, that thing definitely deserves the M tag. Raiden is sick. And the Luminaris,
Raiden had M, right? Yeah,
as I said, definitely deserved it. And then Luminaris was insane. It deserves the M tag. And then I was like, all right, baby, this Hexagore's got to deserve this M tag too. And then you're just sitting there like, okay, this is really hard to make work. So I want this new sword to be a glaring, this deserves the M tag. If you pull it, you're going to be so happy, just like Raiden or Luminaris.
Or at least... Right? Or at least it's given the consideration when you're building a CC deck for a tournament that you have this in your 80 along with 2 Kodachis.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, control matchups, Kodachis, regular matchups, or anything else. We're gonna play this 2-hander.
That's a great point. Mm-hmm.
Because like Kodachis are there, like you always have them. That's crazy.
I would agree. So, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like it has to be something that it is at least considered not above them, but like
on par with, or does something different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And obviously come with go again, because to end a combat chain with a weapon is fun, but most of Ninja's combat lines demand that you finalize your combat chain with the end piece that's not going to give you go again, whereas like we've seen Chain and Briar throw out a bunch of attacks, and then at the very end they utilize the go again on their weapon. Ninja can't do that because that last combo piece is not going to have go again, 90% of the time. So, or all combo enders right now don't have go again. So it's got to be a weapon that you could start with that has go again, and then maybe even some type of tricky, kinky little on hit effect. Like, hey, here's a 2 go again, but if it hits, something happens. I don't know.
Yeah. Ash.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Like, advance your game, your strategy a little bit. Something that incentivizes them wanting to block the sword.
I like it. That's cool.
So then I'm going to throw it back to you because I have very limited hype. You do see the hype and excitement for Icelander. And so I do like the ice element. Of all the elements, it was my favorite one. Do you think that they are putting her in this set with our 2 draconic heroes to try to balance the metagame in a way that we do not have right now?
I think she is the new gatekeeper. Like, I think she's going to gatekeep in a different way. So you also have to take into context, right? We're losing Starvo and Chain, most likely Chain. Mm-hmm. We're losing both of them on set release. So when the set releases, they're no longer legal. So you have to look at, like, who are the aggro decks then? Briar's Queen. So then, like, Lexi, it might be the 2 of them. So then you look at
Dash can be aggressive.
Sure, but like who then are the gatekeepers? Oldhim, who now becomes the default guardian, right? He's back at the forefront, so he's going to slow people down. He's going to be a big deal. But then you have to have who's the other gatekeeper? And I think Icelander is that thing. I think Icelander, I'm really hyped for Illusionist. You're really hyped for Ninja. I would not be surprised in a couple of, like a month from now, or a month from now set release, but like a month and a half, right after, a couple road nets, if we come back and talk about how Icelander is the strongest hero in the game.
I could see it.
Yeah,
I could definitely see it.
So
or like you said, gatekeeps enough of the aggressive decks to where
I think she's gonna be able to do both because she's ice. She gives frostbites pretty much as easily as Lexi gives frostbites, a little bit harder than Oldhim does. Oldhim doesn't really have, reliable ways aside from hammer, but she has a more reliable way to give frostbites, but also she deals arcane. And that's the problem. She's disruptive on a different level. So I don't know if we're going to get, are we going to get to the generic conversation in a second here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think that Icelander is going to be able to disrupt in a way that we haven't seen yet because she's a wizard and deals arcane. So she's going to cost people deck building slots as well as gameplay slots with frostbite. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, the conversation in a couple months is Icelander is the best hero in the game. She might be terrible. I just think that the way that things are going without Chain, without Starvo, she has room to become the best hero in the game.
No, I agree with that statement, but I think it's going to take time. Like, Like,
yeah, it's hard to figure out.
When Prism first came out, you said that too. You were like, Prism's going to be the new gatekeeper. People are going to have to account for heralds and popping and all that jazz. And in the same and in a lot of ways, you were right. She did become, something that every hero had to include things in their deck to deal with. And right now with Kano, it's like in Classic Constructed at least, they can kill you in their one turn. If they miss it, they miss it. If they don't, you probably killed. If they miss it, you probably kill them. If they hit it, they kill you. So a more consistent over time way to deal arcane, but she can't be a character that pops off as much. And that's evident because she has a hard time playing instants aside from the card that she put in her arsenal. So I can see her being a way to slow down the aggressive decks, but like you said, at the same time sprinkle the arcane. Whereas when Viserai was an aggressive deck, aside from OTK, Viserai was an aggressive deck who sprinkled in the arcane. Briar has been an aggressive deck that sprinkled in the arcane. Icelander could be a control type of wizard who sprinkles in the arcane.
Yeah, wizard control is an archetype that none of us have seen yet, so we don't know to the extent, but it sounds crazy.
Yeah, disruptive. She seems like she wants to disrupt your turns. She's going to have to commit cards to do so. So she's going to have limited times to attack. But it seems like she wants to do things like Prism wants to do. I want to build up auras or not auras or whatever, frostbites or the word I'm looking for. And then what's the one the card that's like how they spoiled it and it said like if you have
afflictions.
Yeah, so she's going to want
hypothermia.
Yeah. So she's going to want to do things to you to slow your game plan down and then bam, hit you for some arcane. Kind of like how when Viserai wanted to build up an X amount of rune chance and then hit you with a splash of these rune chants for arcane. How are you going to deal with this damage and then this arcane on the top? So they obviously gave her 2 less health for a reason, just like they gave Kano the 10 less health. But I think you're right. Could she end up being the best hero of these 3? Absolutely. It wouldn't surprise me.
I think so. Yeah, which is cool. I like that. I like that. Like, she's a cool wizard. I'm excited to see what people do with her. I won't be playing her, at least, especially, well,
in the
pretty
beginning.
much. Yeah, I'll. But it's going to be cool. I will look forward to playing against her and see what people do with her.
I agree. So we've talked about our kind of hopes. Okay, how about this? We talked about the sword that Ninja wanted. I'm gonna say that my prediction is Ninja gets a legendary arms. I know you picked arms, but I want the arms. And then for Wizard, they have their legendary boots, and that's it, right? That's the only legendary.
I think they get a hood.
You think they get a hood? Okay.
I think they get a headpiece.
That would be cool. A hat,
like not necessarily like a hood, but like she's cold, she's chilly, she wears
the cold never bothered me anyway.
Yeah, she's Elsa, right? She's got to be chilly. I would say, she probably gets. I don't think that we're gonna get a legendary weapon or offhand this set.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we're gonna get only legendary equipment this set.
So then that segues into our something you're really excited about, something that other content creators have also brought up, and that's we agree with, DM Armada put out a great video of his predictions, and we agree. We think this set is going to have some quality generics, and then the generic legendary
banger generic.
You think bangers? Bangers on the level of like just the Majestics or bangers like
I think Command and Conquer and we're gonna get a Command and Conquer / Enlightened Strike
level banger
generic or Majestic this set. Majestic this set. Yeah, I think we're gonna get like that type of Majestic where you have to have all 3, and it's pretty much either a main board or a sideboard card regardless of the matchup.
That would be so cool. And then if you look back at Welcome to Rathe and Arcane Rising, aside from, Command and Conquer and Enlightened Strike, we've had Art of War, we've had the Tome of Findall, we've had other really important Majestic generics that we have not felt that, not in Everfest, not in... There was no generics, and I mean, I love Bingo, but you know what I'm saying. So, 100%. I can see there being other types of action cards as well that are bangers. If there's a banger new attack, I can see there being a banger new instant or a banger new non-attack or something along those lines.
I agree. I mean, I think this is going to be the most important generic set that we've had since Arcane Rising.
If you got into the game, if you were a player that came for Tales of Aria, you didn't get generics in that set, and then with Everfest you got very gimmicky generics to fit the carnival theme, which was fine, but
Monarch had like Exude.
Yeah, but I said if you came in at Tales, but yes, Monarch had good ones as well.
But even like Exude and like Nourishing, those are fantastic Majestics, but those aren't Light Strike, Command and Conquer, Art of War, Tome of Fangdal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we're gonna get a big 4 level Majestic this set, maybe even 2. And I think that one of the legendaries is gonna be a generic. I know DM said this too.
Oh yeah.
I think one of the legendaries is gonna be generic as well, and it's going to. I think. Personally, they're going to go after
the
Spring Tunic.
Yeah.
I think they're going after Spring Tunic. Not for any particular reason, just because I just think a lot of top decks, right? Like if your class doesn't have a chess piece, you're like, okay, Tunic, right? Like Briar lost Blood Sheath, and they're like, oh, Tunic, whatever. It's like. Tunic is so good that, not saying we have to get rid of it.
Tunic is so good that you play it in your Prism list instead of the legendary that came out for Light Illusionist.
Yeah. Yes. So it's like you play Tunic because it's Tunic. You play Arcanite Skullcap because it's Arcanite Skullcap. There's nothing unless you have something competitive in slot. That's it, which is good because that's how it should be, right? Like that's you should have.
The class equipment. The class equipment should take precedent over the generic.
Yes, but now it's time. We're 6 sets in, 7 sets in, whatever it is. Now it's time to start competing with that slot a little bit, right? You're releasing 6 legendaries. Not everybody's going to get a legendary. Release one that competes with Tunic. Release one that competes with Skullcap, right? Like. Should be a decision point where it's like, damn, this is very good. This is very good. What do I do here? So I think this is going to be a big set for the generics, including a legendary. They might release generic boots, which would be terrible.
Wait, why would that be terrible? I would take generic legendary boots.
Yeah. Guardian players would love that.
That would be nuts. Then Guardian players could just. Oh, God.
Guardian players would love that shit. But no, like I hope not. Again, I'm not saying that Tunic is OP or Skullcap is OP. It's not. I just like when there's a competition on slot, right? If you have, let's say you're a Guardian, like an OG Bravo player, right? If you have tech plating, Tunic, and a new chess piece that you're deciding between all 3, right? Which probably a bad example, but I don't even know. But that's kind of what I'm saying. Like I like there being it just adds to deck building complexity, and I like that stuff.
Yeah, I would agree. And funny thought popped in my head as you were saying that, and what if it's like how the Findle Spring Tunic was like in the forest and it's beautiful and it's green. What if they pull a little Legend of Zelda on us, and then to go into the volcano in Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time,
tunic.
You had to wear the red tunic, dude. So what? Maybe we get a red tunic. There you go.
That'd be sick.
But no, I agree. I think a chess piece, or it's either going to compete with the Spring Tunic or it's going to compete with the Skullcap. like you said about Guardian.
Generic arms would be crazy.
Generic arms. I mean, I'm interested to see what route they go, but I do think that one of the legendary slots will go to generic, like you said. I do have one piece of spice that I could see the legendary slot going to, and I don't think you will agree, but it could happen. What if the legendary slot, and you watch more content than I do, so I could be wrong completely on this. Is there a chance the legendary slot could be adult Kasai?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
Because that would be a terrible legendary to print. I'm not saying that they wouldn't ever print her as an adult form. I think that's more of a supplemental set.
Okay.
That just is that'd
be pretty sick though.
For a mainland set, that's a big feel bad, I think.
Like instead of like
I can see them doing a legendary
talented Kano.
No.
A draconic Kano.
I don't think it's gonna be a character.
A draconic. They're gonna give Kano the Starvo treatment because
that'd be such a bad deal.
I know, but in that James White interview at the ProQuest,
that's worse than Silver Palms.
He got asked one of the questions to James White. I just watched it today on my car ride. He got asked, "Will other heroes get the Starvo treatment and become, talent?" And he said yes.
Yes.
And then he said, "I might have already shipped it." Like he was, they made that joke, ship it, because he talked about Bravo, and he was like, "Ship it." He was like, "It might be coming way sooner than you think. Ship it." And so it could have been, could be in this set. A majestic.
Starvo was a majestic.
Yeah, well, okay, so not the legendary slot, but how would you feel if that was their way of being like, there is a third draconic, it's Kano?
That'd be okay.
That'd be kind of sick, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be okay.
Yeah.
I can see them doing another legendary in-deck card like they did with Eclipse and Doomsday.
Maybe to get the Phoenix?
Yeah, I could see them doing that. Like an in-deck card, like a one-of, which I think would be feasible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with 6, that's a lot. So, yeah, I'm excited. I cannot wait for spoiler season. I can't wait for this set. I'm very excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah, me too. We're right around the 50-minute mark. We hope you stuck around to the end. We've had a lot of fun just kind of chatting. Most of our videos, we don't really sit down and go, these are exactly what I want to say. We kind of just speak from the heart, go from the hip about the game that we really enjoy playing and would like to see prosper and succeed. I'll leave you with one more thought topic for us to discuss, and that is with Fab 2.0's structure. Do you think that with this set, the player base and the collector base are going to both become happy again? Do you see it? Do you think it's going to fix the problems?
It's a good question. I don't think there's a problem. I think people got way too hype. They bought the hype because of, production values and stuff like that. Like LSS couldn't overprint first edition product because they would go bankrupt. So then when the bubble burst and everyone got in the game at Monarch, everyone just hoarded Monarch. And that was a problem.
First edition Monarch?
Yes. And now they're, and now they overprinted everything for Tails, and Tails was useless or valueless, and Everfest was valueless and stuff like that. So I'm glad. I don't want people hoarding boxes. I don't want that to become, I know what Magic is, whatever. And, that's part of the game. I don't want people hoarding boxes, but I like value, right? I think this is a happy median where, cold foils, if you pull a cold foil legendary or the cold foil fable, it's going to feel special now. Like, you're not guaranteed cold foil stuff when you pull these boxes. Like, it's a big deal. Like, to pull a legendary is a big deal. To pull a cold foil legendary is even a bigger deal now. So,
I think it's gonna be, what are they calling the alternate arts?
Marvels.
The Marvels.
So this is like it's a very cool thing what they're doing because it's like, hey, if I just want to buy my product, but I don't want to have to pay a premium in order to get these cards, I can buy a rainbow foil, legendary that I didn't pull, and that's fine. But also, the cold foil of those variants, or cold foil variants of those cards, their value is going to be, I think, higher than normal market because they're that much harder to pull now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not guaranteed because there's no first edition. I think it's a lot harder to pull. I think it's going to be interesting to see what the market happens or the market, does in response. It's going to make me feel a lot sadder when I don't pull my cold foil illusionist cards, but I think it's a cool thing.
I would agree, and I think it is giving me the same excitement that that we had when we pulled Monarch, not knowing what the value was going to become, and
Sure.
we felt really excited about getting cold foil legendaries or the library or any of that.
Or extended our like Lumina Ascension.
Yeah.
It's like shit. This is sick. I didn't realize this was a card.
Yeah. And now knowing if they increase the rarities on those things and increase, so they increase the rarity on those things and then they decrease the rarity on rainbow foil ones or whatever the case may be, regular art, rainbow foil legendaries. We don't really know exactly the numbers, right? Did they say that the exact numbers? I don't even know of like what you're gonna...
They
odds?
did release poll. They did release poll rates.
Okay.
I don't know
what they are.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so I'm excited about that too. Like, I know people say this all the time. Monarch is the most important set for Flesh and Blood to make or break the game, and Everfest was an important supplementary set, can save all these characters. I really do think that with Fab 2.0 and for whatever reason, I feel it in my loins that Uprising is going to be a really, really cool set that I don't want to say saves the game. It doesn't need to be saved by any means, but uplifts. Uplifts.
It's a change. Like I mentioned before, like, we just came off a supplemental set, so people are kind of like, you know what, whatever. They wash their hands with it. Now you have 3 new heroes. It's a brand new card pool for existing heroes, right? Kano's going to get support. Prism's going to get support. Katsu's going to get support. But then all of a sudden we have these 3 extra heroes that can change the game. And Starvo and Chain are gone. Like, the game is fresh. It's a new horizon, not the card, but the actual thing. Like, it's a really just cool dynamic. Like, we don't know where the game's going to go. The meta is just going to be completely uplifted, like topsy-turvy style. No one's going to know what's
an Uprising,
the best
baby.
So it's an Uprising. So we have this new like world on June 24th, 26th, whatever it is. Like, it's fresh.
To me, it
new
starts
again.
on the pre-release. 18th is when that's when the new world kicks off. But all right, so we're right around the end here, and like Ryan said earlier in the video, thank you so much for the support. It means a lot to us. If you stuck around and watched us babble on for the last hour, we really appreciate it. Be on the lookout for all of the new content that we're going to be putting out in the coming months. We're excited to make it. We're excited to be back. We're excited to get the competitive juices flowing. We are going to do our darndest to ascend or uprise the Roundtable of Rathe to the top of the game, baby. Ryan, any final remarks before we sign off?
No, yeah, just take a look. Like, June 4th is next Saturday is start of spoiler season. We're gonna have our idiot hot takes. So if you're interested in this stuff, if you're interested in our channel, you like what we're throwing out, make comments, participate. I still say this, we're very good at engaging with people. So, comment on this video, comment on any video that we do in the future. Let us know your thoughts as well. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that that we can address in the next video, drop it on this one and we'll get to it. So, like Jim said, appreciate your support throughout this. It's crazy that somehow we have 900 and something followers or subscribers, and we're just dudes that make stupid takes on a microphone. So it's appreciated.
All right, with that being said, this is Jim and Ryan from the Roundtable of Rathe, and we wish you nothing but the best, and we're out.